The King's Avatar, Chapter 1518 Normal People Chasing After the Footsteps of Geniuses. Audio source, WooshaWorldAudiobook.com. Chapter 1518 Normal People Chasing After the Footsteps of Geniuses. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. Tyranny's home fans were unfriendly towards Happy and Yishu in particular. Yishu didn't care though. After shaking hands with Tyranny's players, he waved his hands towards the crowd, triggering a flood of boos. A few rather impulsive fans thought of their loss in the last round and immediately started throwing random objects at him. The security quickly put a stop to them and escorted him out. Ha! Yishu laughed, not in the least concerned. After greeting each other, the two teams went to their designated seats. But when they looked again, they saw that Yishu hadn't gone down. He was still standing there on the stage. What's the meaning of this? He would be Happy's first player for the group arena. But the problem was that this wasn't Happy's home game, it was Tyranny's, yet he stood there heroically. The Happy fans were quite excited seeing this scene, but the boos from the Tyranny fans quickly drowned him out. Yishu had come onto the stage, waved his hands to the crowd, and stayed on the stage. The match hadn't even started yet, and boos had been thrown his way 3 times already. How capable! Yishu heard someone say from the side. He turned his head to see who it was. Lin Jingyan hadn't gone down from the stage and stayed as well. Ha! Yishu laughed. I can hear it. They're booing you, booing your lack of creativity. As soon as he said those words, the boos suddenly turned into applause, turning into the background for Lin Jingyan, who had come over to talk to Yishu. It became even more obvious who the booing was for and who the applause was for. Thank you for the applause. Yishu turned around and waved his hands enthusiastically to the crowd. Tyranny's fans suddenly didn't know what to do. It was really hard to grasp the timing for booing Yishu and applauding Lin Jingyan. Lin Jingyan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He wasn't capable of doing something like this, but at the same time, he was secretly feeling a bit envious of Yishu's shamelessness. In the end, Tyranny's fans couldn't endure it any longer. The applause turned into boos again, and Yishu immediately acted like the boos weren't for him. Lin Jingyan couldn't help but laugh. Don't look at how this was hate not love. The two sides had quite the understanding of each other. When the day came that Yishu no longer stood on the stage, Tyranny's fans would probably miss these interactions. As for Yishu, was it because he knew that he would one day have to leave this stage that he teased Tyranny's fans endlessly? In reality, he probably wasn't admiring Yishu's shamelessness, but his lively interactions with Glory fans. As for himself, he had a group of die-hard fans rooting for him, but right now, were they looking at him? Lin Jingyan actually became depressed for some time, up until Yishu came over and called out to him, "So Tyranny sent you to kill yourself?" Ha! Lin Jingyan laughed dryly. If Han Wenqing or Zhang Jiale were in his place, they would probably respond with, "Who knows who'll be the one to die?" Quote. But not Lin Jingyan. From the very beginning, he was different from players like Yishu, Han Wenqing, and Zhang Jiale. Those players were geniuses. It only took one look to know that they were destined to stand at the top of Glory. As for himself, Lin Jingyan knew that he wasn't a genius of any kind. He was just one among the many who chased after the footsteps of those geniuses. Fortunately, he was able to get very close to these geniuses. Unfortunately, he was left behind despite his efforts, never able to reach the same heights as them. Nothing could be done, because there was no rule saying that genius couldn't work hard either. The genius in front of him put in no less effort than he had. Those geniuses never thought of giving others a chance to catch up. Being with you guys for so many years has truly been exhausting. Lin Jingyan suddenly said. Yishu stared blankly at him. Lin Jingyan's words had come out of nowhere. For a moment, he didn't know how to react. It's too bad. I also have goals that I won't give up on. Lin Jingyan said. Oh, you're very spirited today, Yishu said. Yes, I'm going to win. Lin Jingyan said. Let's see you try. Yishu smiled. WuxRWorldAudio.com. See you in game. See you in game. The two shook hands and went to their respective player booths. The big screen in the stadium displayed the names of the two competitors. Team Happy, Yishu, Lord Grim. Team Tyranny, Lin Jingyan, Dark Thunder. When the time came, the referee confirmed that the players were ready, and the match officially went underway. It was clear who would be playing first in the group arena. The next question was what type of map would Tyranny choose? It's the arena. Everyone was taken aback. Team Tyranny had unexpectedly chosen the most commonly picked 1v1 map for the all-important playoff stage, the arena. This map had the highest pick rate in the game because it was the smallest, simplest, and most direct. This style fit Tyranny quite well, but maps weren't chosen for the sake of simplicity. Picking the map was equivalent to giving the home team the initiative. The chosen map was the home team's first attack towards the away team. It could affect the momentum of the entire match. However, Tyranny had chosen the arena. Picking this plain and simple map was the same as giving up their home team advantage. What's more, Happy's Yishu liked this map. In the regular season, Happy would often this type of map in the individual competition. For Tyranny to choose this map, had a spy infiltrated the team. Coach Lee, what's the meaning behind choosing this map? Pan Lin asked Li Yibo for his opinion. This map couldn't have been chosen on the spur of the moment, especially with Zhang Xinji planning Tyranny's strategies. There must be a reason behind picking this map, Li Yibo said. This time, Li Yibo wasn't just trying to get out of saying anything meaningful. These were his actual thoughts. Unfortunately for him, Pan Lin misunderstood, thinking that Li Yibo was just joking around. As a result, he followed up with the usual, "Okay, then let's wait and see," leaving Li Yibo hanging. Li Yibo wanted to say something but hesitated because the match had begun. The arena was as simple as a map could be. The setting was that there was no setting. As soon as the characters loaded in, there was no time for Li Yibo to make any introductions. The two characters chosen by Happy and Tyranny were already at the center of the map. Lord Grim, Dark Thunder, this map, did you pick it just for me? Yishu asked in the chat. End chapter.
The King's Avatar, Chapter 1519. Unintelligent Lin Jingyan. Audio source, WuxRWorldAudiobook.com. Chapter 1519. Unintelligent Lin Jingyan. Translator, Gnome Yummy. Editor, Gnome Yummy. Yeah, I chose it for you. Lin Jingyan replied. Dark Thunder, charge. Lin Jingyan has made the move. Pan Lin immediately called out. He was a bit surprised. Up until now, no one had given any trouble to Yishu's Lord Grim in direct combat. Tyranny choosing such a straightforward map was surprising enough. Lin Jingyan making the first move only added to that surprise. Could Tyranny have found a way to counter the unspecialized blitz? Pan Lin continued. But soon afterwards, Dark Thunder was sent flying away. Pan Lin was dumbstruck. That didn't look like someone who found a way to counter an unspecialized. Lord Grim gave chase and began his counterattack. Pan Lin continued to commentate passionately, while Li Yibo remained silent. He carefully watched the fight between Lin Jingyan and Yishu. He was also wondering whether Tyranny had found a way to counter Yishu's unspecialized. After all, besides Yishu, the most experienced players in the Glory Alliance were the players in Tyranny. The unspecialized playstyle required ample experience to support it. Perhaps the only players who could find a way to break it were the ones in Tyranny. But in just 3 moves, Dark Thunder only had a chance to attack 3 times before being sent flying by Lord Grimm. Li Yibo didn't see any signs of Lin Jingyan figuring out the unspecialized playstyle. Instead, all he felt from Lin Jingyan was that the fast unspecialized playstyle was rendering him helpless. But when Yishu counterattacked, the defense from Lin Jingyan was as taut as ever. He didn't run away or kite him. None of the dirtiness from his days with Fang Rui appeared either. Lin Jingyan looked as if he wanted to beat Yishu in direct combat. Competing against the opponent's strength with one's weakness seemed like he was letting his emotions affect his decisions no matter how it was spun. However, how could someone as experienced as Lin Jingyan make such a low-level mistake? What is Tyranny planning? Li Yibo searched for an answer. Many people were searching for an answer. Bang bang bang. After another intense exchange, the two once again separated. So sharp. Yishu smiled. Yeah, Lin Jingyan replied. Dark Thunder charged forward again. Lin Jingyan was clearly losing. Dark Thunder had lost more than 20% of his health while Lord Grimm had lost less than 10% of his. However, Lin Jingyan didn't make any adjustments. He kept doing the same as before and fought him directly even if it looked like there was no chance of him beating Yishu this way. Lord Grimm dodged, turned around, and ran away. What? Everyone was dumbfounded. The way Yishu was playing didn't seem to have any problems, but right now, he seemed to be running away. Yishu was running away from Lin Jingyan. Was Lin Jingyan's way of fighting really that threatening? Of course, to the normal players, Lin Jingyan would crush them. But when looking at a competitive match, it had to be looked at in terms of professional play. Even if you said that Lin Jingyan's attacks were giving Yishu trouble, the amount of trouble it was giving was very limited. No. From their last exchange, it was obvious that Yishu had won that trade. However, why would someone who had the advantage choose to run away and go on the defensive? There was no time for everyone to think too much because Lin Jingyan had set his heart on his methods. Dark Thunder turned around and gave chase to Lord Grimm, attacking again. Lord Grimm retreated another step. Dark Thunder advanced another step. Then, there was nowhere to run to. Lin Jingyan was an experienced general. He wasn't going to let Yishu run away as he pleased. He would think of some way to corner his opponent. If the terrain was richer in content, there would be more space and more options to choose from when escaping. But the arena was a small map without any obstacles. The only way to run was by using one's own movements. There was limited room to run, too. The arena was only so big. After running away twice, Yishu was forced into a corner. As a result, he counterattacked. Cold light intertwined with the occasional sounds of clashing weapons. Dark Thunder's weapon was the most common brawler weapon, a claw, which consisted of sharp blades. Blood would fly into the air every time the blades cut. Fast. The two were attacking and defending extremely fast. This was a contest of hand speed and reaction speed. The viewers could only watch the spectacle in awe. They couldn't see what attacks they were using and whether it was effective. Their only choice was to look at their health bars to determine who was winning. Yishu. Yishu was winning. Lin Jingyan's brawler wasn't a match for Yishu's unspecialized and direct combat. From this point, it seemed like it was obvious who would win the match. However, Lin Jingyan didn't retreat or give up. He persisted, insisting on using this sort of method to decide the winner. Applause. The crowd applauded. Brawlers could fight close range or long range. They had CC and burst damage. They were an extremely versatile class. Fang Rui was Lin Jingyan's most important and reliable partner for many years. To synergize with him, he had adjusted his playstyle, and that was during the later parts of his career. Before that, Lin Jingyan was an aggressive player who liked direct combat. Demon Subduer. Just hearing his former brawler's name, how did that sound like someone who sneaked around and used dirty tricks? The Lin Jingyan of that time had been chasing after the footsteps of the geniuses. When fighting against them, Lin Jingyan didn't want to show fear. Even if he lost, he would stand straight until he fell. Now that he was thinking about it, he had fallen numerous times. But he had never cowered. Even when he had adjusted his playstyle to not be as aggressive, he had never cowered. He had ambitions too. For his dream to be the champion, he could give up on everything. To bring back the wild days as demon subduer, he could do that too. Tiger flips the mountain. Double crescent. Pain of scars. A bright red streak of blood blossomed into the air. As Lord Grimm retreated, blood poured out from his right shoulder. "Oh, demon subduer. It's been a long time," Yishu said. "Are you scared?" Lin Jingyan spoke as if he were Yishu. Dark thunder, charge. The demon subduer here wasn't referring to the one that Tang Hao was using in Team Wind Howl, but the three-hit brawler combo that Lin Jingyan often used back in the day. It was precisely because of this three-hit combo that he included the name 3 in the name Demon Subduer. WuxiaWorldAudio.com. His team saw this connection, and so the three-hit combo was named Demon Subduer as well. CTL note at the end of the chapter. However, as glory developed and levels increased, more skills became available. Lin Jingyan's famous three-hit combo gradually became outdated. Nowadays, it was rarely used and couldn't be considered a signature move. If his opponent wasn't Yishu and a younger generation player, they might not have recognized the three-hit combo from Dark Thunder. "Ha, I was never scared. You know that," Yishu said. Lord Grimm faced him again. Lin Jingyan's move had been sudden. Yishu had been caught off guard. But if it was this skill, then even when Lin Jingyan had used it in the past, he indeed had never been afraid of it, let alone now when it had fallen behind the times. "Take a look at it again," Lin Jingyan called out. "You still want to use it?" Yishu disapproved. "Get ready." Lin Jingyan wasn't going to use it again. He already knew that suddenly using this skill to catch him off guard might give him some benefit, but using this secret weapon again would be a joke. The reason it had become outdated was because it had no value anymore. He didn't mind bluffing though. "I'm ready. If you use it, I'll beat you to death," Yishu said. On the other hand, he wasn't bluffing. He was threatening him, and it was a real threat too. Nowadays, if Lin Jingyan used it, it would be considered an opening. Taking advantage of an opening to kill the opponent was the duty of a player. Sure enough, Lin Jingyan didn't use it again. The two continued to trade blows, and the applause continued. Lin Jingyan's strategy was somewhat stupid. The current him could definitely play smarter. Perhaps by doing so, he would be able to contend with Yishu to the end. But this was Tyranny's home stadium, and the ones supporting him were Tyranny's fans. Lin Jingyan's strategy might not be smart, but it was exactly what they wanted to see. People might say that playing smarter would give them a higher chance of winning, but sorry, Tyranny's people love to use this sort of brute force method to win. This was what the fans wanted and what they hoped their team could prove. Team Tyranny was changing, and they couldn't control it. However, Lin Jingyan's fighting style right now was something they enjoyed from the bottom of their hearts. It was because of this that they liked Tyranny. Go! Beat Yishu! Lin Jingyan didn't hold the advantage, but Tyranny's fans didn't care. From their energy, it seemed as if Lin Jingyan was suppressing Yishu. Can you see what Tyranny is trying to do? Huang Shaoshan, who had run to Tyranny's stadium to watch the game, messaged Yu Wenzhou. "They're trying to wear him down." Yu Wenzhou replied. Wear down. Huang Shaoshan was no stranger to this word. It was a rather painful phrase to him. That was their strategy in their game against Happy. Wear down Yishu in the group arena. But it turned out that Yishu wore down their energy instead. Team Tyranny was doing the same strategy, wear down Yishu. It was just that their method was different. They chose the simplest map and simplest method to wear down Tyranny. Wear him down with brute force. End chapter.
The King's Avatar. Chapter 1520 Unavoidable Exhaustion. Audio source, wushaworldaudiobook.com. Chapter 1520 Unavoidable Exhaustion. Translator, Nomyami. Editor, Nomyami. Lin Jingyan fought like a hero and fell like a hero. He had expected this outcome. Having chased after the footsteps of those geniuses for so many years, he knew that these geniuses weren't like the lazy hare in The Tortoise and the Hare. They wouldn't leave any room for others to surpass them. "You can't let me win once," Lin Jingyan said jokingly. "You've won before, no?" Yi Zhu replied. Season 4, Round 21. Lin Jingyan stared blankly for a while before saying, "I lose to you even in memory." The first round of the group arena ended in 1 minute 48 seconds. Between two players with abundant experience, it could be considered an extremely fast battle. In the end, Yi Zhu won with a huge lead. Lord Grimm had 63% of his health left. When Lin Jingyan left the stage, the crowd didn't hold back with the applause. A loss was a loss, but Lin Jingyan's attitude was what they wanted to see. Even though it might not have been a smart thing to do, Tyranny's fans liked to see this sort of hot-blooded fervor from their heroes. Go Tyranny! Quote, "It was as if Tyranny was winning." Their fans seemed even more excited than Happy's. Tyranny's second player appeared on the big display, Zhang Jiale, dazzling 100 blossoms. Another old general from Tyranny. Amidst the applause, Zhang Jiale walked towards the stage and met Lin Jingyan midway over. "Nice job," Zhang Jiale said. "The rest is up to you," Lin Jingyan said. "Watch me take him down," Zhang Jiale said. The two bumped fists, and Zhang Jiale walked onto the stage. Soon, the second round began. "Go die," Zhang Jiale typed into the chat as soon as he loaded into the map. Then, his 100 blossoms bloomed. Dazzling 100 blossoms seemed to explode. The shimmering light spread throughout the arena with him as the center. Offense, another aggressive offense. Just like Lin Jingyan, he went for direct attacks without any tricks. The wave of blossoms swept over Lord Grimm. With this small arena, there was practically nowhere to hide. Zhang Jiale's strategy couldn't be considered a group arena strategy. In the group arena, no one would be as wasteful as this because your opponent was never just one person. If you only cared about a win over the opponent in front of you, if you lost the group arena, then that win wouldn't matter. Tyranny. Are they planning on giving up on the group arena? Pan Lin couldn't help but blurt out. Li Yibo furrowed his brows, unsure what to say. Exhaustion. He had a grasp of Tyranny's intentions. He wasn't certain about it though, so he didn't say out into the broadcast. But by the looks of it, if their intent was to exhaust Yi Zhu, wouldn't the price be too large? The Spitfire was a mana-hungry class. With Zhang Jiale not caring about his mana and using everything he had to display his 100 Blossoms style. Even if Yi Zhu lost, how much mana would dazzling 100 Blossoms have left to deal with Happy's next player? Engulfed by the wave of light, Lord Grimm's figure turned blurry. For Yi Zhu, this was a difficult problem. He was obviously aware of Tyranny's intentions to exhaust him. But in this map, the other side didn't care that Yi Zhu would notice because their arrangements were such that even if he knew, there was nothing he could do to avoid it. Unless Yi Zhu gave up on winning and let Lord Grimm stand there for them to kill, in which case, that would be great, too. Otherwise, in such a small map facing such experienced players, there was no way for him to kite around and relax. Last round was like this, and this round would be the same. Team Tyranny didn't hide their intent. If you don't go all out, then you'll be killed instantly. If you go all out, then you will certainly expend quite a bit of energy. It was true that Tyranny's side had old players too, but they were taking turns fighting Yi Xiu. On Happy's side, after listening to Fang Rui's and Wei Chen's analysis, Chen Guo suddenly became worried. But after thinking about it for a bit, she suddenly thought of something. In any case, Yi Xiu has taken down Lin Jingyan. We're already in the lead. He can just play casually and use up to the other side's mana. We'll still be winning in that case. Chen Guo said. Oh, is that so? Boss, what a good plan. Fang Rui said. Of course. Chen Guo was delighted. But a second later, she discovered that Fang Rui's reply had been somewhat sarcastic. The others on Happy didn't think much of her good plan, did they? What's wrong with it? Chen Guo's ideas were often demolished by Yi Xiu, so she was very self-conscious. No one immediately replied. Everyone's focus was on the match. Yi Xiu didn't retreat. Instead, he faced Zhang Jiali boldly, just like in his fight with Lin Jingyan. Everyone's expression was solemn as they watched the match. Chen Guo didn't keep asking what was wrong with her good plan. It was unlikely that Yi Xiu wouldn't have thought of her plan, so there must be a reason why he wouldn't choose to use it. The battle was as intense as the previous round. Both sides knew each other well, and the intense, fast-paced battle didn't lack caution either. The entire stage was a chaotic mess of light. If last round, people couldn't tell what each player was doing exactly, then this match with Zhang Jiale's all-out light blossoms, there was very little left of what they could see. The only thing they could clearly see were their health bars. Fast. Their health bars were dropping very fast. The difference was that Yi Xiu's Lord Grim was dropping steadily. He clearly wasn't ever able to cleanly escape from the grasps of the 100 Blossoms style. As for Dazzling 100 Blossoms, his health dropped intermittently. It was just that each drop in health was quite considerable. Bite him to death. Happy's players and Happy's fans were praying with all their might. If Lord Grim could stick close to him, he might be able to interrupt Dazzling 100 Blossoms' fierce assault. Then, in close combat, Spitfires would be at a huge disadvantage. In the regular season, Zhang Jiale had been burst to death this way. But this time, it clearly wasn't going to be so easy. Zhang Jiale, who was going all out, had blocked off everything. Too crazy. Huang Shaoshan felt his heart tremble. With the way he's playing, let alone the next player, if Lord Grim had started with over 70% of his health, Dazzling 100 Blossoms might not even have had enough mana for this round alone, Yu Wenzu replied. Zhang Jiale had let go of everything. His eyes had been set on Lord Grim, who hadn't even started out with full health. Lord Grim had started with only 63% of his health left. His energy, his decision-making, and his attacks were all concentrated on that 63%. Only by doing this could he give Yi Xiu the most pressure. It was only by doing this could he make it so that Yi Xiu would not be able to afford to relax. This round could not be defined as simply as who won or lost. Wuxia Tyranny's strategy was being carried out in this forceful way. As for Yi Xiu, since he couldn't avoid getting exhausted, then he could only do his best to win as much of a lead as possible for Happy. As for what the outcome would be, it wasn't just this round that had to be looked at, but the entire match. 1 minute 24 seconds. The battle between Yi Xiu and Zhang Jiale had been even faster than the battle with Lin Jingyan. In the end, the first to fall was Yi Xiu's Lord Grim. However, Zhang Jiale's Dazzling 100 Blossom was useless at this point. He only had 9% of his health and 2% of his mana left. Yi Xiu wasn't able to complete a 1v2, but it was very close. When left the player booth, Happy's fans applauded wildly. This was Tyranny's home stadium. Happy's fans knew of Tyranny's enmity with Yishu. They had no way of suppressing Tyranny's fans in their home stadium, so it was only by taking these openings could they show their support to Yishu. Unexpectedly, boos didn't come immediately from Tyranny's fans. This despicable guy has his decent moments. Tyranny's fans were in a discussion. Yishu fought head-on against the aggression put out from Tyranny. It was what Tyranny's fans liked to see. As a result, even if Yishu was their mortal enemy, they hesitated. His playing today is pretty okay. Let's boos a bit softer, someone suggested. As a result, the boos still came, but they were light as a feather. What's going on? Yishu wasn't used to it. As he walked down from the stage, he saw that Tyranny's fans weren't putting in much effort to boo him like usual. Now you know what fear is. Yishu smirked as he said these words to the audience members nearest to him. Fuck. The audience members heard him, and their boos immediately intensified. The reason was soon spread throughout the stadium. Fuck, and now he's proud of himself. Tyranny's fan leader and Tyrannical Ambitions guild leader, Jiang Yu, felt the urge to flip a table. Boo him! Boo him! Jiang Yu roared. The boos once again echoed loudly throughout the stadium. There were even some "kill him" shouts mixed in. Yishu was as calm as ever. Happy's next player wasn't affected by these sudden boos from Tyranny's fans. Happy's next player was Mo Fan. He had already become an important chess piece in Happy's group arena. Good luck, Yishu said as they passed each other. Mo Fan didn't stop. He simply nodded his head and kept walking. Yishu returned to his seat. The others looked at him. Almost a 1v2, Yishu grinned. Chen Guo immediately noticed the weariness in Yishu's smile. He couldn't hide his exhaustion. Chen Guo had seen this appearance before. It was the same as when he had fought against Wind Howl's Tang Hao. And today, Yishu had fought a fierce battle against two players back-to-back. His opponents, Lin Jingyan and Zhang Jiale, were experienced players too. Since they came in with a purpose, they naturally knew how best to wear Yishu down and make sure that Yishu couldn't avoid it. The second round of the group arena ended. Yishu left the stage. Tyranny had a practically useless dazzling 100 blossoms, yet Chen Guo felt a bad premonition in her heart. End chapter.